At my usual bar, sipping on my regular whiskey on the rocks, I was suddenly addressed by a familiar voice from behind. "Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Why are you here of all places?" I turned around with a feeling of disgust, as if I were scratching a glass with my nails. To my surprise, it was my ex-wife, Olivia. "Olivia, what brings you here?" That was my reply. "Well, I like the ambience of this place, and I've taken a liking to it. It's a bit pricey, but my husband earns well, so the high prices suit us just fine. You, on the other hand, don't earn so much, so coming here must be quite a stretch for you, right? It's pathetic to see you trying to punch above your weight. Or perhaps you decided to blow all your savings for today, poor thing. I could buy you a drink out of pity if you'd like." Olivia stood there looking down at me as I sat, wearing such a cheap shirt. "You really do look ridiculous." Despite my intention to ignore Olivia's remarks, I couldn't help but feel slightly irritated. However, I knew better than to lose my cool, as that would only play into her hands. I just wished she would leave me alone and move to another seat. My pleasant time enjoying my drink was completely ruined. Then, to my dismay, Olivia decided to sit next to me. "Feeling all right? You're probably still stuck in that dreary little salon, working as a hired hairstylist, living on a meagre salary for life. How pitiful. On the contrary, my husband is about to be promoted to manager. Unlike you, he's a competent individual. It's astonishing how different you two are, despite being brothers. I really made the right choice by leaving you." Olivia continued to spew her venomous words. Being bombarded with so much sarcasm, I almost started to wonder if this was some kind of twisted service mentality. It might be Olivia's own way of providing entertainment, trying to amuse me. No, that couldn't be it. I shook my head to clear those thoughts and reminded myself once again of how terrible my ex-wife truly was. After all, Olivia was the woman who, while married to me, seduced my brother and then divorced me to marry him. The fact that such an awful person exists outside of TV drama still sends shivers down my spine. Wanting nothing to do with her, I resolved to keep my responses as neutral as possible. "So, Nova's moving up in the world." "Congratulations, that's what I said to Olivia. She, such a pitiful younger brother." Olivia continued to look down on me with disdain. Then, a regular patron of the bar, Ava, who had been silently listening to our entire conversation, spoke up. Ava and I often met at this bar and shared stories with each other. "Excuse me, I don't know what your relationship with Michael is, but you sure are arrogant. Listening to you is quite unpleasant. I don't know who you think you are, but do you even know anything about him?" "Michael, who's sitting right here," I hardly said to Ava. "Ava, it's okay. There's no need for you to say anything." But Ava, tilting her wine glass with a triumphant look, said to me, "You should just speak up. Why not put this superficial, vile woman in her place?" Hearing this, Olivia raised her voice. "What the? Who do you think you are, madam? It's rude to speak like that to someone you've just met. Mind your own business." Ignoring Olivia's words, Ava continued, "Rude? That's funny coming from you, who's far ruder. But go ahead, take a good look with those murky eyes of yours, Mason. Show this rude woman the magazine from earlier, please." Ava called out to Mason, the bar owner. Mason placed an issue of the internationally renowned fashion magazine Beauty Woman, abbreviated as BW, on the counter where the three of us were seated. "Wait, what is this?" Olivia was taken aback as she looked at the cover of the magazine. "My name is Michael. I grew up in a town just outside of New York, in a family of 4. My father, mother, brother Noah, and myself. My father was known to be good at drawing since he was a child and aimed for art school after high school. But after failing the entrance exams 3 times, he gave up on his dream. Having entered the workforce with just a high school diploma, he struggled to find a well-paying job. My mother, who was quite naive and sheltered, married my father by chance and resented him for their life of poverty and his lack of higher education. Because of this, Noah and I were raised with our mother constantly drilling into us that getting into a high-ranking school is the most important thing in life. Noah sincerely believed in what we were taught and never neglected his studies, even during the busy times of club activities in middle school. Eventually, advancing to a high school with a high academic standard, in high school he maintained top grades and went on to attend a prestigious university from which he graduated. However, I was not influenced by either my mother or Noah. Despite giving up on art school, my father would paint as a hobby on weekends and visit exhibitions of acquaintances who were painters. I was influenced by my father and shaped by his character. I'm going to check out some paintings at a gallery in Chelsea. Want to come along? I was often invited by my father on Sundays like this, and while my brother Noah had no interest at all, I was fascinated by art, so I frequently joined him on such outings. My father had many acquaintances in the art world, and as a child, I had many opportunities to meet artists who were friends of my father. This influenced my decision to become a hairdresser, leading me to enroll in a beauty school instead of high school after graduating from middle school. Most of my classmates went on to high school, and it's not that I didn't consider it. I thought that following my mother's advice to graduate from a good university and secure a job at a stable company was a perfectly fine path. But since Noah had already taken that path, I felt I didn't need to, and there was another reason. When I was in 9th grade, I overheard my mother saying to my father late at night, "How are we going to afford Michael's further education? With just Noah's tuition and tutor fees, our finances are already stretched." Then, though I felt guilty for even dropping that, it became the deciding factor for me to feel that it was okay not to go to university. Admittedly, beauty school also required tuition, but I managed by working part-time to cover the costs and my personal expenses. I enjoyed my studies in beauty, which seemed to suit me well. Therefore, I never doubted that I was leading a successful life, and at 18, I was content with my job as an apprentice hairdresser, even though the pay was low. 2 years after entering the workforce, I was recognized as a hairdresser and started living independently. Life was tough, but manageable if I kept my expenses in check. Then, a turning point came after a class reunion when we turned 18. "It's been a while, Michael." I was approached like this by Olivia, who was a classmate in elementary and middle school. Hi. I didn't remember her. No wonder, despite attending the same elementary and middle schools, we were only in the same class once, and that one time was merely because she transferred to my school during the 3rd term of 3rd grade. In other words, we were only classmates for about 2 months. Forgotten by you, Michael. That's a shock. Olivia's words made me feel guilty. At 18, she was very beautiful, and given my work-focused, romance-free lifestyle, it's true that she caught my attention a bit. She asked for my contact information, we kept in touch, and even she asked me out, so before I knew it, we were dating. She had a strong desire to marry, and after some contemplation, we registered our marriage. At 23, as a hairdresser in a small suburban salon, I wasn't financially well off. We couldn't afford a lavish wedding, nor could we live luxuriously after marriage. I thought it would be better to wait until my income increased, But Olivia wanted to marry right now and wouldn't listen to reason. So I resolved myself to it. I wasn't living a wealthy life yet, but I was determined to gradually increase my income. After all, it wasn't just about me anymore. I had a family now. After registering our marriage, I dedicated even more time to studying beauty-related subjects in my spare time. The owner of the salon where I worked even discussed a possible promotion to manager, leaving me constantly pondering whether to accept or seek opportunities elsewhere. It happened just as things were coming to a head, about a year after we got married. "Hi, we need to talk." I received a message from Noah, with whom I didn't usually communicate much. Wondering what it was about, I replied, "What's up?" And he asked to meet in person. So we arranged to meet after work the next day at the cafe where we agreed to meet. Not only Noah was waiting, but to my surprise, Olivia was there too. I came to talk to Noah today. Why is Olivia here?" I asked, completely baffled by the situation, and took a seat opposite Noah and Olivia. "I'm really sorry, Michael." Noah apologized deeply to me. Olivia remained silent. "What are you apologizing for?" I felt a strange discomfort in the air, making even a coffee tasteless. "I should be the one to say it, not Noah." Olivia spoke up. I couldn't believe my ears. "I'm sorry, Michael. I want to divorce you and be with Noah," Olivia stated firmly. I was utterly confused. "I don't understand what you're saying." That was all I could muster in response. "I've grown to dislike our marriage, and I've fallen in love with Noah," Olivia explained. "Wait, Olivia, do you realize what you're saying? You're married to me, right? Falling in love with my brother, don't you think that's wrong? How did things end up like this?" I was lost, unable to figure out who was in the wrong or what went wrong. "I know it's wrong to be with your wife, but Olivia's passion moved me too," Noah admitted. At that moment, something snapped inside me. I had resolved to protect my wife as family once we decided to marry, even though I was still unreliable, aiming to improve gradually. But Olivia had decided on her own to divorce me, and she involved my brother. I recalled her frequent late returns, but I too often came home late from work and thought she was just busy with her job. Was she meeting Noah all this time? I didn't know how it happened, nor did I want to know any more. The fact was, my brother and wife were sitting in front of me, both saying the same thing. "Fine, do as you please," I was disgusted. I left the cafe. However, since Olivia and I lived together, she returned home after I did. The atmosphere was awkward, but I confronted her. "I wish you had spoken up if you were dissatisfied with me," Olivia replied. "I like you as a person, Michael, but I prefer Noah because he has a higher education and income." I was trembling with anger. Yet, knowing that women might seek education and income, I tried to calm myself, thinking it was inevitable. "Sorry for not earning more, but did you have to go about it this way?" I managed to keep my cool as I said this. Olivia simply stated, "I'm not to blame," and went to her room. Watching her leave, I felt utterly indifferent. Even if I was at fault for not providing enough, wanting to remarry my brother, and if Olivia only saw Noah as a man with high education and income, it seemed like she was just using him conveniently. I thought Noah was crazy to consider being with his brother's wife, but he was supposed to be a serious, hard-working person. True, he was stubborn and strong. We'd married because of his earnestness. I worried that Noah was being manipulated by Olivia. "Noah, think it over again," Olivia said. "She wants to marry you because you are well educated and have a high income. If she doesn't truly love you, I'm worried about the future." I messaged him that night, but his reply was disappointing. It's uncool to say such things just because you want to keep Olivia. I was disheartened. I had no lingering feelings for Olivia. In fact, I doubted her character, so I wanted to warn my brother to prevent him from becoming another victim. But this was ultimately a matter of personal judgment between adults, so I felt I couldn't say anything more to Noah, and so I agreed to the divorce. I felt neither loneliness nor regret. Instead, I felt a sense of relief to avoid worrying our parents and Olivia's. I assured them, "We've discussed this thoroughly and are all in agreement, so please don't worry." After the divorce was finalized, I never saw Noah or Olivia again. I made sure to visit my family home on different days to avoid crossing paths with them. And then 3 years went by. By that time, I was living my days, hardly ever thinking about my ex-wife and brother. For a while after the divorce, I was frequently overwhelmed by a sense of unbearable sadness and went through some tough times. I felt no sorrow whatsoever for losing Olivia. It was the memory of my wife and brother wanting to marry each other during our marriage that made me distressed for a while. However, time is the greatest healer, and after 3 years, my wounds had healed and the flashbacks had ceased. I was living a peaceful and happy life. Then, one day after work, I stopped by my usual bar. Little did I know at the time that something unbelievable was about to happen. Here, as I sit, my usual whiskey on the rocks at the counter, I was suddenly addressed by a familiar voice from behind. "Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Why are you here of all places?" I turned around with a feeling of disgust, as if I were scratching a glass with my nails. To my surprise, it was my ex-wife, Olivia. "Olivia, what brings you here?" That was my reply. "Well, I like the ambience of this bar, and it's a bit pricey, but my husband earns well, so it suits us just fine. You, on the other hand, must be stretching your budget to come here. Trying to act above your station is just pathetic. Or did you decide to splurge all your savings today, poor thing? I could buy you a drink out of pity if you'd like." Olivia stood there, looking down at me seated, and rambled on by herself. I chose to remain silent, listening to her without engaging, knowing that arguing would only bring me down to her level. Undeterred, Olivia continued, "Wearing such a cheap shirt, you really do look ridiculous." Despite my intention to ignore her, I couldn't help but feel a bit irritated by her comments. However, getting angry would only play into her hands, so I kept my cool. All I wanted was for her to leave me alone and move to another seat. My pleasant time enjoying my drink was completely ruined. Then, unbelievably, Olivia decided to sit next to me. "2 Care Royale, please." Olivia ordered from Mason, the bartender, and within 3 minutes, 2 Care Royals were placed in front of us with a thud. "Here you go," handed one of the drinks to Olivia. I nearly fell off my chair. "Wait, this is for me." Surprised, I said that, and Olivia replied, "Of course, it's not like I'm going to drink both at the same time." I'm not really into sweet drinks, mixing sweet liquor with sweet juice. I just don't get it, I said to myself, truly perplexed. But not wanting to cause a scene by refusing Olivia's offer, I simply said, "Thank you," and accepted the glass filled with a murky-coloured drink. Doing all right, still slaving away in that run-down little salon, I bet. Living on such a meagre salary is just pitiful. Unlike you, my husband is about to be promoted to manager. It's amazing how 2 brothers can be so different. I really made the right choice by leaving you. Olivia went on a tirade, all by herself again, dripping with sarcasm. Being bombarded with so much sarcasm, I almost started to wonder if this was some kind of cued service mentality. It might be Olivia's own way of providing entertainment, trying to amuse me. Or maybe not. I shook my head to clear it and reminded myself of just how terrible my ex-wife really was. After all, Olivia was the woman who, while married to me, seduced my brother and then divorced me to remarry him. The fact that such an awful person exists, not just in dramas, but in reality, still sends shivers down my spine. Wanting nothing more to do with her, I resolved to keep my responses as non-committal as possible. "Nova's moving up in the world, congratulations," I said to Olivia. What a pitiful younger brother. Olivia continued to look down on me with disdain. Then Ava, a regular patron who had been silently listening to our entire conversation, decided to speak up. Ava and I often met at this bar and would share stories with each other. "Hey you, I don't know what your relationship with Michael is, but you sure are arrogant. It's quite unpleasant to listen to. I don't know what your status is, but do you even know anything about him?" "Michael sitting here," I quickly said to Ava. "Ava, it's okay. There's no need to say anything more." But Ava, tilting her wine glass with a triumphant look, said to me, "Michael should just speak up. Why not put this superficial, vile woman in her place?" Hearing this, Olivia raised her voice. Who do you think you are, madam? It's rude to speak like that to someone you've I just met. Mind your own business." Ignoring Olivia, Eva continued, "Rude? That's funny coming from you, who's far ruder. But go ahead, take a good look with those murky eyes of yours, Mason. Show this rude woman the magazine from earlier, please." Eva called out to Mason, the bar owner. "The magazine. Right here it is." Mason placed an issue of the internationally renowned fashion magazine Beauty Woman, abbreviated as BW, on the counter where the three of us were seated. "Wait, what is this?" Olivia was taken aback as she looked at the cover of the magazine. "That's right, the man on the cover is Michael," Eva said with even more pride. "No way. Isn't this a photo with the global music icon Maria Smith? What's going on?" Olivia, in panic, flipped through the magazine. "Wait, a 10-page feature on Marie and Michael." Olivia frantically flipped back and forth through the magazine, looking at the articles and photos. Then she demanded an explanation from me. "Explain this, Michael." Eva began to explain on my behalf. "As you can see, Michael has become the exclusive hair and makeup artist for the world-famous singer Maria. His talent has been highly praised, and he's been offered to do hair and makeup for models and fashion shows by famous designers who appear in Paris Fashion Week." While listening, Olivia kept muttering, "No way," in disbelief. Then she exclaimed, "But Michael, you were just a hairstylist in a small suburban salon. How did you rise so high all of a sudden?" "I participated in various contests while working as a hairstylist, even when we were married. I talked to you about it, but you looked down on me, didn't listen, and showed no interest. I didn't make it in domestic contests, but when I took a chance on international ones, I was recognized. That's how I got noticed by a famous hair and makeup artist trained under them, and then entered bigger contests. I won a grand prize in one of them, which led to my role as Maria's exclusive artist." Though I thought it unnecessary to explain all this to Olivia, Ava had already shared so much about me, so I reluctantly added my own explanation. "That's amazing, Michael," Olivia said, then added, "as expected of my ex-husband. I'm his ex-wife. Let's meet up as exes sometime. For starters, I'd love to get Maria's autograph. Can you introduce me to her in person?" I was astounded by her sudden change in attitude upon learning of my connections with famous people. "Truly superficial. You really are despicable. Stay away from Michael." I don't care if you're his ex-wife or whatever. You have no relation to him now. And by the way, you called Michael's shirt cheap earlier, but it's from a famous brand. You can't even recognize quality. AA raised her voice, but Olivia, undeterred, said, "Hey, Michael, actually, I've been regretting it. I think you are the better man after all. Noah has been all about work lately and doesn't pay attention to me. I'm lonely. Please, I'm going to divorce Noah anyway, so won't you give us another chance?" While she entered, wound her arm with mine, I instinctively shook her off, saying, "Stop it." Ava then remarked, "Michael, you really shook her off from the bottom of your heart. Well, of course, there's no way you'd get back together with such a woman." Because just then, as AA was about to continue, she exclaimed, "Speak of the devil." And I turned around in response to her shout, only to see a familiar figure, Emma, the woman I called Emma, was my girlfriend. Emma, don't get the wrong idea. Michael did nothing wrong. It's this woman who's at fault. She came on to him unilaterally. Ava explained on my behalf. "Yes, I saw everything. You're Olivia, Michael's ex-wife, right? He's shown me a photo of you before. I know how much Michael truly despises you. I've been watching for a distance for a while now. You're really shameless," Emma said. Ava laughed hard, saying, "The always quiet and kind Emma speaks such sharp words." And Olivia, turning pale, said, "Wait a minute, Emma, isn't she Michael's childhood friend?" Emma was taken aback. "Wait, how does she know about me? That's scary." Then a familiar male voice spoke up. "Olivia, what was that earlier, asking Michael to start over, getting so close to him?" "No, my brother and Olivia's husband stood there." "What?" "No. When did you get here?" Olivia flirted. "I saw you coming on to Michael. I heard everything. We're getting a divorce, you deceitful person," Noel said, his voice trembling. Then turning to Michael, "I know I wronged you by marrying Olivia in such a manner, but I've finally seen the light. I was naive, fooled by Olivia's convenient lies and deceit. I feel ashamed of myself. I sincerely apologize for hurting you, my brother. I truly am sorry. It's okay. I don't hold a grudge. If you've come to your senses, that's good. But maybe you should be more discerning about women," I said. And he replied, "You're right. I'll reflect on this. I'll start over after the divorce." Olivia, in panic, clung to Noah's arm. "No way. I won't accept a divorce." "What are you saying, Noah? Didn't we swear our love to each other?" But Noah, with a look of disgust, shook her arm. "Don't touch me. Regarding the divorce, I'll have my lawyer see to you." Olivia was in tears. But that's so cruel. I've loved you since we were kids. When I transferred in elementary school, you were so kind to me. I dreamt of marrying you someday. And when we met again at the reunion as adults, I was so happy we could date and then marry in the summer. She was just a girl from another school who attended the same swimming class as you in elementary school, right? I always saw you returning from the class with her, and now you're with her. That's so unfair. I loved you more," Olivia sobbed as she spoke. "I was dumbfounded. Then why did you decide to divorce me and remarry my brother while we were married? That's just cruel, isn't it? Do you understand how I felt when I was betrayed by both my wife and brother? Have you ever considered anyone else's feelings? You just want whatever you desire at the moment, right? That's childish thinking. No, even children can understand other people's pain. After our divorce, I struggled with insomnia because of the emotional pain. Then, through a friend from my hometown, I reconnected with Emma, who comforted and supported me during my tough times. She thought about my pain with me. And now, Olivia, you've hurt my brother Noel in front of him. You came on to me, asking to start over. How many times do you need to hurt people before you're satisfied? You're truly the worst. As I vented, Olivia tearfully said, "But it's natural to want a husband who is capable and are as well, right? I left you for Noel because he had a higher income. But now you have become successful and famous, so naturally I want to get back with you." Right in the next moment, Ava burst into laughter, saying, "Michael and Noah, this woman is unbelievable." Cut ties with her quickly. Then, turning to Olivia, AA said, "Olivia, I can somewhat understand your feelings, but fundamentally, you're wrong as a person. If you want, I'm always here at this bar. Come and see me, and I'll give you a Thor scolding to straighten you out." Then Mason interjected, "Once you enter Ava's lecture hell, even crying children go silent." Hearing this, I also added, "I know. I've seen several people shaken by her lecture hell right here." Mason and I chuckled together, but Noah and Olivia were frozen with expressionless faces. "I'll be staying at a hotel for the next 3 days. Leave the house within that time. I'll proceed with the divorce proceedings starting tonight," Noel said to Olivia, realizing he was serious. Olivia silently settled the bill with Mason and left the bar alone. "You did well to speak up. I roughly get the story. So you were deceived by that woman for a long time, right? Well, your sin is not forgivable. You have no choice but to reflect deeply. Michael here is a magnanimous man, so I think he'll forgive you for now. Buy Michael a drink and me too, while you're at it," Ava said, looking at Noah. Understanding, Mason replied, "Please get a drink for Michael, Ava, and also for Emma." Noah responded, "Then I made Noah sit 1 seat away from me, and I moved next to Emma at the counter. Today was supposed to be the anniversary of my marriage to Olivia. I never imagined it would turn out like this," Noah said, dejected. Eva silently comforted him by patting his shoulder. "But Noah, you're stubborn. Once you make up your mind, if you've decided to start over after leaving Olivia, I'm sure happiness will come your way," I encouraged him. "I'm sorry for being such a terrible brother who hurt you." "Thank you," Noah apologized. "Well, it's all good now. The evil spirit is gone. Cheers." AA raised her cocktail glass high, given by Noah. More importantly, today is a significant day for Michael. Forget about Noah. If you're truly repentant as a brother, celebrate his new beginning, Ava said to Noah. "A new beginning?" Noah asked that question. "Actually, I'm moving to France for a while because of work, so I took a small box out of my pocket. Emma, please come with me. Let's get married. I promise to make you happy." Inside the box was a ring. I had told Emma about moving to France, but it was the first time I asked her to come with me. Tears welled up in Emma's eyes as she answered strongly, "Thank you. I'd be happy to come with you. I'll support you as your wife for life." In the next moment, Mason quietly started clapping. Noticing this, Ava stood up and shouted, "Bravo," clapping loudly. The other customers in the bar also turned to us and joined in the applause. When I glanced over, Noah was crying tears of joy. Half a year passed, and I had expanded my work and network in France, achieving great success as a hair and makeup artist. Emma and I were living happily together. And then, after a long while, I returned to the US for a visit and went to my parents' house. My mother said something like this the other day. Olivia's parents came over to apologize. "We were worried when you and Olivia divorced, and she married Noah, but you told us. We all agreed on it, so don't worry. After talking with her parents, we finally understood the whole story. It was quite a mess. They seemed really sorry for raising Olivia to be so selfish. Well, I always thought you boys lacked judgment in women. My mother said this and laughed. She raised us with a belief in the absolute importance of a higher education, but now she's become more understanding and supports my career. Of course, my father is fully supportive of me too. By the way, Noel seems to be dating a woman his age that he met at work. I hope it works out for him this time, like it did for you and Emma. My mother shared this news with me. I was happy to hear it. I want Noah to be happy too. And now even for Olivia, I hope she learns from her mistakes, so her parents don't have to apologize for her again. At their age, everyone makes wrong choices in life. Of course, it's better not to make mistakes, but what matters is how you handle them afterward, I believe. Not everything in my future will be smooth sailing, but I'll cherish each moment and move forward. I have a place in France. There's still so much more to explore. Leaving my parents' house, I looked up at the sky, ready to board the plane.